Arya's down bad, and I don't mean that dragon Toxin. This girl, I feel like every single episode of Beheneko, we find out some new kink that Arya has. I mean, yes, the big reveal that she's into her cat, but now we have the confirmation that she likes the chair. She likes NTR. She's into NTR. She's into CKing herself. So she's perfectly fine with seeing Tama in other people's chests. I like the feeling, the fuzzy feeling they get when I watch somebody else carry him. Oh my god, gosh, dude. At least Vulcan picked up on it. At least Vulcan picked on it. But yeah, it really does feel like episode 3 is a lot into this heroes party, this other group that saved everybody during Ragnarok. And yes, that seems to be mostly headed by Cedric, or at least focused in this episode is Cedric and his desire for Anna. And Anna needs some love too, okay? Come on, Anna needs some love, so why can't it be Cedric? I mean, we got that spoiled for us already. It's all over the ED. And I think it's a little bit in the OP as well. This fact that Anna and Cedric are just like super close to each other, and sure enough, this episode pretty much confirmed it. Even the after, during the preview for the next episode, it's like super heavily implied, the idea of like, oh, you're with this other person, you're cheating on me. They were talking about Tama's power, and Anna thinks that Cedric is cheating on him. And he just says something like honey or something like that. I'm like, okay, that's pretty much the confirmation. I mean, we're not skirting around it. These two are just totally madly in love. And yeah, technically he did say at some point, I can't take the family name because I don't like women, are not built to like women, and so thus, you know, I went out and do my own thing. I'm going to do my own thing. I can't be like what they want me to be. Can't have an heir, nothing like that. So it technically makes sense. But yeah, they showed like a brief silhouette of all the heroes of this Ragnarok, which, you know, it has Vulcan in it, obviously. Like Vulcan's obviously in that group. And they implied several times this episode where she's saying, oh yeah, I never asked why you guys became knights. Again, technically Vulcan was a part of that group. So it does at least explain why Vulcan is, even though a blacksmith, extremely powerful. So that's kind of cool there. Now, the silhouettes in that little brief shot, nobody else looked like they could be sort of sniffed out there. Like you had Cedric was off the left side of the mage. On the right side, you had, of course, Vulcan. And the other ones, it was like 4 other ones, and I think they were all elves. So I would assume that one of them is probably the Sword Saint. I don't know what the other 3 are. So it's kind of an interesting thing to kind of, again, throw onto the top of the ecchi, fun fantasy stuff is a little bit of lore that they're actually putting some effort into, unlike many other ecchis here. So good stuff here. No. Star of the episode. Let's get down to the star of the episode. The star of episode 3 of Beheneko was obviously, Marietta. Yes, Nao Toyama. We have an ecchi show, and it's got Nao Toyama in it. I'm on board. I'm on board. Like the moment that Marietta opened her mouth, I'm like, this is my favorite girl. This is my favorite character in the episode. Right? I mean, it's hard to beat Vulcan. I'm sorry. I was already, you know, set on Vulcan to begin with, but yeah. Now Toyama making ecchi sounds, I'm all for it. Like it's all like tying up together. But no, a really good episode for the ecchi crowd. I mean, honestly, this whole segment with the girls going to the bath and everything like that was. Yes, it was chef kiss. I really enjoy that whole bit. And yes, getting a little bit into Vulcan and how she's now being a little bit more cautious around Tama in those situations. I just realized it. Yes, I just realized it. They opened that whole segment with them all, disclosing. And at some point, Tama's like, I'm with all these maidens. And then suddenly out of nowhere, Vulcan's like, oh, now I'm suddenly, mindful of the fact that he's there. And sure enough, Tama just sit there staring. Like a true pet. Like if anybody out there has a cat or especially a dog, dogs especially, you know that whenever you're doing something that you wouldn't do in public, like you're going to take a shower or something like that, and you're changing or whatever, and your dog's just sitting there staring at you because they probably in their minds thinking, are we going somewhere? Do we go for a ride? I'm gonna set my dog off by saying that we're going for a ride or something like that. They're just like deadlocked onto like, what are they going to do next? When are we going? And so, yes, there's that stare. He's totally doing it. Thomas just he's just sitting there staring. I'm here with these maidens. He ain't hiding it no more. Like, if nobody minds, you might as well watch. But no, I like the fact that Vulcan's like super mindful of it and goes to leave and everything like that. But then, like, literally the next scene, she's just chilling with Tom at the time. Well, kind of he's in the bushes or something like that. He's watching the boys. He's watching not the boys. He's watching Danny and Coward because Cedric don't care. Sometimes Cedric's like, I don't get it. It's hard for me to get what you guys are doing there. It's okay, man. We got it handled. It's fine. You got Anna. Anna's waiting for you back at home. We got it handled. We got the girls handled. It was a fun little bit there. Some good little interesting ecchi moments there. So good stuff. But no, the rest of the episode, like I said, coming into it, just them going to, take out these demons that are attacking this town. They get on the carriage. Everybody gets their nice little introductions there. Again, we get the chair moment of Aria saying, I like watching. But it was a cute little moment there, introducing everybody, seeing how powerful Danny is. Again, bringing up constantly these heroes, including Cedric, and how these people at the past, this big Ragnarok war, they saved everybody. And they're super powerful. It was interesting they noted specifically that Danny did not use a skill, despite the fact of how powerful he is, which again, technically addresses just how strong he is. He doesn't have to use a skill. He's that powerful. But yes, eventually getting to the town, having them have a conversation about why everybody became a knight, which honestly, it's not really that deep there, but it is interesting to see that every person has their own reason why they became a knight. And yes, most of it seems to be centered around money. Big shock there. Why do people go into the army? I mean, even for the United States, why is a lot of people going to the army? Money. It's just simply that. Yes, there's a lot of people that are doing it because they want to protect people. And yes, a lot of cases where you do have war or some conflict is brewing up, a lot of people will answer the call. But for most people, when there's no major threat happening to a nation, yeah, most people that are just joining because, hey, it's good money. The government itself needs to constantly keep a group of people that are trained, and the way to do that when there's no conflict is to, yes, fork out the dough. So it all makes sense there. Yeah, again, getting into a little bit of Cedric and the idea that, it's just really his family name. He can't inherit it, so might as well go do this. Now, I will admit that later on it sort of indicates that Cedric just likes this. And yes, with a loved one like Anna, a big muscular one like Anna, I think that he probably likes that kind of stuff. I mean, Cedric just, the moment he gets in the combat, all right, it's time to go. He activates his dark magic and suddenly he just goes crazy. And it sounds like he really likes it. So I think Cedric's into that kind of stuff. And I think that's what they're implying there is the idea that I couldn't inherit the family name. So I'm going to go fight things so that I can, inflict and be inflicted with pain. I think that's what it's going for. We're going to find out later. This dude is totally into that kind of stuff. He's into Dom stuff, basically. So we'll see. But yeah, really good little segment there. Again, getting everybody's perspective. And obviously, again, Aria being a little bit embarrassed, or not embarrassed, but feeling bad for bringing up essentially how every person has sort of something that's forcing them to do it. My father's in, forced servitude. I'm in massive debt. I'm doing it for money. That kind of stuff. It's not about the glitz and glams that you would typically get. With Aria, it seems like a lot of her devotion is because of her admiration of the Sword Saint. But yes, a lot of the cases where something is pushing her, it has to do with, her trauma. But yeah, we have the whole Bass segment, and Tama worried about his little behemoth becoming a massive behemoth. Trying to keep it in check the entire time. And yes, them wanting to give Aria a bunch of massaging and all that kind of stuff. But then they go, yes, into the whole fight with the demon human. Like I said, getting everybody kind of stepping up, showing their power. Yes, Tama using water cannon in order to snipe a bunch of people before they eventually get in there. It seemed like the demon human at some point was going to recognize what Tama is, and the idea that he knows that he's not just an elemental cat, but possibly something more. Didn't live long enough in order to figure that out. Implies that there's another group of people, which, yes, we kind of assume at this point the demons are probably rising up again. And then, yes, at some point, Aria going to attack the bad guy with Vulcan, and she gets a hit in. It implies that Aria does something to the bad guy, like this glowing light from it, which my assumption at this point is that she's probably destined to be the next Sword Saint, if that's some sort of, an ordained thing by some sort of deity. They get that power, or they have this certain bloodline that they're able to do that. It could imply that she has some ability that makes some sort of light magic within her body. We'll see, but I don't think they've ever indicated that there's something special about her weapon. It was something that Vulcan made for her really strong. Now, yes, Vulcan, again, being from this hero party, she could possibly have imbued it with some sort of light. I doubt that she would go... I doubt she'd have that kind of foresight that that's something that she should do, but we'll see. It's probably has to do with Aria herself. But yeah, she gets some dragon toxin. Nobody can do anything about it. I thought it was going to immediately turn into a thing where Vulcan spits his mucus on her or something like that. It has some healing property, or he licks it until it goes away. But no, they're actually keeping to, he has to find an antidote, which is the Earth Dragon Eye. And yeah, the moment they brought up Earth Dragon, I'm like, oh, yep. I was wondering when that Earth Dragon was going to come back up. It's that whole like trope where like the first boss they run into beats them up and they have to come back later on to beat them. But the surprising thing there is that, yes, Tama goes to fight it and he immediately uses his second form, which again, I was kind of assuming was going to probably be similar to what the Sword Saint had, like a big tiger. And so it wasn't going to be as big of a deal as he thought it was going to be. And again, I thought it was going to be a thing where he was going to use it in the midst of a battle to protect Aria. It's still to protect Aria, something that's forcing him to have to change forms. It seems like he thinks that it's done. I doubt that he's going to have to be stuck in that form. I mean, him being the little cute cat is pretty much the joke. I mean, we could have going forward for the rest of this series, he's this massive behemoth sitting on top of these ladies' chests, but I doubt, I doubt they're going to go for that whole kink there going forward. He's going to have to change back so that he could sit inside the mounds. That's the joke. You can't have him not be in the mounds. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we have no idea. There's no real way of knowing what this rider's into. But yeah, I'm assuming he's going to beat the crap out of the dragon, take its eye. There was a side of me that thought that he could go there and just ask the dragon, because it's a dragon, so most cases they have, knowledge. He could have pled to the dragon, hey, can I have the eye? But the problem there is that the dragon's missing one eye already. I doubt it's going to want to give up the other one. And dragons generally are very prideful beasts, so the idea of even giving up an eye typically takes some sort of massive feat for them to recognize. And even then, it's very difficult. Again, dragons are all about themselves. They're very prideful. They're a being above all things. So to think of the idea of like a god or a goddess, giving to a commoner on the earth something, it requires something besides grace. I mean, typically with a god or goddess, it's usually some sort of grace. They love the people below them. Dragons don't. So you have to take that out of the picture. Anyways, that's a lot of deep talk about dragons that does not really apply to Beheneko, a dumb, ecchi show. But really good episode. I really enjoyed this episode. A lot of fun. Saturdays are getting really, really crazy going forward. We'll see if I'm going to still do my coverage of the series Saturdays. I might just go ahead and just record it on Saturday, maybe post it on Sundays. We'll see. This might actually post on Sunday. We'll see. Anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed my impressions as always. A lot of fun. Again, my fun show of the week, even though it's not that deep and interesting. It's fun stuff. But I hope you guys enjoy the video. As always, hit the like button down below if you like this video. Leave me a comment. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe before you leave. If you want to support the channel, I have links in the description below. Greatly appreciate it. Until next time, take care.